Okay, day 5 ending up. We came into South Dakota. We have this really nice campground that we like to stay at, and it is called Rapid City RV Park. And it's kind of a neat little place. It's central to everything, and it's got a beautiful killer view in the evening. I should have got pictures of it. Sorry, I don't have them. But when you're up, it's like on top of a hill or a ridge, I guess I should say, and it's the ridge of that road that goes all the way up to the presidents and all that. Anyway, so up on top of that ridge, you can look off. You can see the whole town lit up at night. It's a really nice little place, and we stayed several days there. And when we left, well, wait. Before we left, let me move on to the next slide here. Hang on just a second. Well, while we were staying at Rapid City RV Park, there's a little lake that I fished once before. I caught some big old lake trout in there before, and this lake is called Paktola Reservoir. And if you look at it, it almost looks like we're up there in the mountains and in the pine trees, and we are. And it looks like it'd be freezing, stinking cold. And I go out there and sit in the shade first thing on day 6 in the morning, and boy, I'm freezing my rear end off. Let me just tell you, it got downright chilly sitting there. I go to wash off my fingers after baiting my hook, and the water's toasty. And while I'm sitting there fishing, you're not going to believe this. Down the hill comes a guy whose license plate on his pickup said Frogman. And he gets his tank and his wetsuit and his flippers and his mask and all that, and he puts them all on. And he takes off out into the lake, and he goes down there and starts scuba diving. Yeah, right where I'm fishing. And then there was this loud motor on an inner tube comes around the bend, and the same thing. Some guy down there at the end of a hose scuba diving. Pretty soon there's this woman comes walking down. She's probably in her mid to late 40s. She decides she's going for a swim. Yeah, you got it. So no fish. Anyway, that's that story for day 6. Okay, and this is another view of Pactola Reservoir. This is a really nice reservoir. Like I say, the air temperature out that morning was 51 degrees with a little breeze blowing across the water, and it was pretty dang chilly for me because I didn't have a coat. I didn't bring a sweater. I'm just sitting in a t-shirt fishing, thinking I'm all smart. But the water temperature was 70 degrees. No wonder everybody wanted to go swimming. I did this just for the naysayers so you could see, yes, I really was at Paktola Reservoir. And so I got my smiling, little kind of half smiling face on there. Anyway, hang on, and we're going to move on ahead. Sure enough, somebody's going to say, so what was the name of that reservoir again? You know, the one with the big lake trout and all that. There it is, Pactola Reservoir. By the way, if you're at Pactola Reservoir, there's a little cafe in the back you can go to. It's pretty nice. I just want to highly recommend that. And this picture is for a dear friend named Stacy. She loves Colorado. But the reason this is special for me to get for her is because she's always saying to people, I love you to the moon and back. Well, here you go. Love you to the mountains and back, Stacy, in Colorado with snow on top. Anyhow, you have a good one. Hope this doesn't overwrite. But if it does, oh well. It'll be just for a moment. Anyway, this would be about day 7. We had left Rapid City, and it was windy, it was ugly, and as we were headed south from there, we were headed toward Colorado, and we were in Wyoming, and right there at the border, we finally said, that's it, we don't want to drive any further. So we found this real nice place in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and we stayed the night there. And anyway, we left there, and here we are, we're pulling into a place called South Fork RV Park. And I highly recommend coming here. It's a really nice, real shady, real clean little RV park. Real quiet, right on the Rio Grande River, right on the banks of it. Well, while we were at South Fork RV Park, anyway, there's a lot of places you can drive around and see neat sights and stuff, and a lot of vistas and pretty views and flowers everywhere. I mean, this place is just gorgeous. It's Colorado at its very best. It's north of Wolf Creek Pass. It's south of Creed. It's nestled in a little place. Kind of reminds me a lot of Springerville a lot. This is a nice little place. I recommend at some point find you a campground. And really and truly, there are nicer campgrounds going up toward Wolf Creek Pass. But this was a pretty good place here. And I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend it to anybody. No, this is not a paid advertisement, but I'm just saying I really enjoyed myself. Now, once again, this is a picture from the same place, and the little flowers I thought looked pretty in the foreground when you looked off into the valleys. And anyway, there's a lot of places where you can get up high and see a lot of neat stuff around South Fork. And anyway, it was a good time, folks. We stayed there 3 days in this campground because it was so nice. And when we pulled out, it was finally Wednesday morning. And on the next video, we're going to get into some of that, but we might do it on this video. We'll see. Well, in all the videos you've seen, we've already moved up to day 10, and we're getting ready to leave. I just thought I'd get a little picture of these flowers off of the, oh gosh, what is that? Oh yeah, the headwaters of the Rio Grande River, and it's so beautiful up there. I wish I could have went fishing in that little stream, but I can't buy a license everywhere I go. Okay, here we are. It's day 10. It's time to go home. I'm going to show you behind me. I got the trailer all hooked up. It's on the truck. We're packing out of the campground. The campground's behind us. Just went into the office, said goodbye. This is South Fork Campground office. And there's their office. Beautiful campground. I can't say enough good things about them. Anyway, we're getting ready to leave. Here's their big sign right out by the highway. Show it to you right there. Hope you're seeing what I'm thinking you're seeing. And I'm sorry about the wind. I'm trying not to let the wind get to you. But I'm walking toward the truck. Truck's all loaded. Everything's good to go. So here we are. We're ready to go. The truck's all hooked up. The trailer's hooked up. Elaine's sitting in the passenger seat smiling and saying good morning. Anyway, so we're all hooked up and good to go. And so there's the big old road up ahead of us right there. And so we're going to head out, folks. So come with us today. We're going to go through Wolf Creek Pass, I believe it is, or Monarch Pass, one of the two. And then we're going to head down the big hill toward Farmington and home at last. All right, you guys, so go with us. I'm going to pause this and we'll come back later. Okay, well, I stopped here at the foot of the Rio Grande. Oh, look at here. Look at these beautiful flowers I got right here. Aren't those pretty? And then we got these guys right next to them. They're beautiful. We got more right there. More right there. Look at this. You ever see this? It's like a flower garden, I'm going to call it from now on. I'm going to back up and show you what we got here. Sorry about the truck running in the background. But this here's a flower garden, I'm going to call it. And we're getting ready to go in there. Elaine says, be careful with all this growth, she says. There could be creatures in here. I said, tell me about it, I know it. But I'm trying to get down where I can show you the headwaters of the Rio Grande. So bear with me as we walk down this trail. Nope, that's not it. But I can sure hear the creek running. And I hope there's no creatures in this place. Let me tell you, you can look down inside there. But it is beautiful in here. A lot of roots and stuff. Oh man, look at this little guy. Isn't he pretty? Gosh, those are beautiful right there. Oh, folks, you don't know me. If you don't know me, you'll know green loves flowers. I love the flowers. Look at this. I'm going to show you something really up close right here. Beautiful. Look at them guys out in the woods. I'm going to try and get a good background. You might do a screenshot of something like that. That's beautiful. You could almost save that for a picture in your picture book. All right, we're walking down this path that's actually a little bit intimidating, but it winds around through here. And Elaine's right, there could be creatures in here. I got to be careful. There could be all kinds of creatures in here. Ooh, doggies. But look here, look what we just found. And this water has come down quite a bit. We've had a lot of rain. You see the mud holes that are still here. Uh-oh, I see prints right there. Something's been in here. Anyway, that's okay. We're going to be really, really careful, I hope. Bear in mind that those bears like to hang around places like this. But look at here. Look at, oh, we're going to stop for just a minute. Because I know people, if you're like me, this sound is one of the most soothing sounds. So I'll shut up and you can hear this. That way is towards South Fork. I'm going to turn, pan around, look at this cliff, these big old mountains. that way is toward Wolf Creek Pass. I'm going to walk on over here and see if there's any fish in this little pool right up here. And I'm walking in the rocks, so bear with me, folks. Kind of a treacherous little path I'm on. So if any of you know me, you know I like to fish. You see where that water's deep and calm right in there, and right up above before the next ripples? Those are the kind of places I like to fish. This kind of stuff right in here, you can catch some fish in it. Not as good a fisherman, in my opinion. That's Mike's opinion. If you're a fisherman and you say, you don't know what you're talking about, Green, I say, okay, you're right, I don't. But those nice deeper holes like those two right there, that's the places to fish. Too bad I don't have a fishing license. Okay, now if I can find my way back to my path that I was on, I came through the woods, through the bush, and there's been something been through here, and I just want to hope I don't meet it. Not sure what those prints are. I don't want to know. Probably people prints more than likely. Sorry, folks, but this is a bit of a rough walk here. Again, one last time. Okay, as you can see, I made it back to the truck. There's where we walked through. We went down this little tiny path into the jungle, as it were. Anyway, okay, we're gonna head up Wolf Creek Pass. I'm gonna pause this and then we'll come back to you. So we just passed a sign that said we were entering the Rio Grande National Forest. I'm gonna have Elaine pan around out there and show you what these woods look like. They're beautiful. We're just barely out of town. So I thought maybe you might want to see what the woods around here looks like. These big steep mountains. And we're right at the foothills of the Wolf Creek Pass right now, folks. And so we're getting ready to head up it and come along with us. I learned something about this truck. What we're driving is it's a 2012 GMC 3/4 ton diesel pickup. Man, that's a nice RV park right there. Anyway, it's a 2012 3/4 ton, 2500. And we're getting ready to climb a mountain. And what I've learned is that the best optimum performance for fuel mileage, for not lugging your engine, for being good to your machine, before you start a hill, you want to be around 18 to 2,000 RPM. And as you're climbing, your power band is right there from 2,000 to, I'm going to say 2,300 RPM, or so it feels on my truck. And I'm going to say that I'm pulling a big trailer. Well, it's not really big. It's a 27-foot tongue-drawn travel trailer. So as I go up this hill, I'm going to try to, well, I'll be shifted into manual. And right now I'm in manual 5th gear. It's a 6-speed. And I'm only going 55. And so we're going to go up the highway. We're going to climb that mountain and we're going to do it in 5th gear. Right now we just leveled out, so I shifted to 6th. Anyway, we're trying to stay 2,000 to 2,500 RPM so we don't lug the engine. Like I said, it's easier on the transmission, the engine, things don't get as hot and they don't work near as hard. Anyway, it's like a 10-speed bicycle. As you shift down, it's a little bit easier to pedal. You pedal faster, but it's easier and you do more work as you're going up the hill. Anyway, that's what the truck's doing, the same basic thing. So pan out one more time, Elaine. Show them what this forest looks like. We've been climbing. We're getting ready to go up a hill here. You can see there's the very bottom of the pass, and we're getting ready to go up that big pass, that cut in the mountains. And I'm going to stop a little bit at the bottom of it if I can, if there's a big enough pull-off. And I want to go down and get pictures of the headwaters of the Rio Grande. Show them this trailer park here, Elaine. Right at the bottom of Wolf Creek Pass is a trailer park. And we'll see if we can't get the name of it as we go by. We're not advertising or nothing. We're just saying, you know, if you're ever on a trip and you want to find a good place to stay, it's called Fun Valley. I guess that's the name of their park, Fun Valley RV Park. Anyway, we'll get back to you here in just a minute. Okay, here we come. We're at brake check area. It's saying speed limit 25, and for the next 9 miles, we're going to be going down a mountain. Look at the moon up there. Elaine's going to show you the moon up over top the mountains and stuff. It's 9 o'clock in the morning and there's still a moon out. let's go kind of slow and look at this sign right here so you can see where we are and what it's going to be like going down the hill. Anyway, hairpin curve, 6 miles ahead. We've got a little bit of a run ahead of us. What is this? This is just I thought it was a bump. All right, we're going to come down the south side of Wolf Creek Pass right now, and we're going to probably leave you folks until we get down to the bottom, unless there's something to show you, like an overlook. So here we go, Wolf Creek Pass. The summit is 10 miles away. We're headed up the hill, and if you notice, it ain't going to get no easier climb. This is it. I'm down to 4th gear. We're just going easy right now. We're going about 45. People around us don't like it. They can just wait, right? And so we're coming to turns that are 40-mile-an-hour turns and stuff like that. So to go 45, I don't feel bad about going that speed all the way up this hill. Anyway, so anyhow, we'll show you as we go, and I'll probably do a fast forward when we get to this part when I make the video. But this is where we pulled off one time on our motorcycles and got pictures. This is a beautiful part of the headwaters of the Rio Grande. Again, these are the headwaters of the Rio Grande, and they meet up in South Fork with the headwaters that come from a different direction. And so this doesn't look so big and impressive. And if you had seen the Rio Grande in South Fork, it was a much bigger river. But this is just one fork of it. This is probably the North Fork, or the South Fork. This would be the South Fork of the Rio Grande right here. So Lake Fork Trailhead coming up ahead, folks. Look down that ridge. See, it's just not that big of a creek right in here. It's more of a creek than a river. But boy, let me tell you, by the time you get down to South Fork, it's a giant river. We got a steep grade ahead. It says 45 miles an hour, which is what we're going. 45 miles an hour on this grade with this truck puts me in a bit of a pickle. I'm at about 1800 RPM to go 45. If I step down to 3rd gear, this thing gets wound out to about 2600 RPM. So I'm just going to stay right where I'm at about 1900, 1800 RPM, climbing at 45. Well, really about 46. But anyhow, we're coming up to the ski area at the top. If you look up the very top up there, you can see the top of Wolf Creek Pass. We're going to be up there here in just a little bit, and all along the top of that mountain ridge is where we're going to be going. There's a building up there on the right, and that's right there at the pass. We'll be there in a few minutes, and so now we're going to slow down to 35. Here comes another tunnel. We're going to take you through this tunnel with us as we go. That way you won't have missed it. This is the 2nd tunnel on this road going up. Thank you. I will not drink and drive, as the sign says. Not even water. But it's just a little tunnel we're going through. And I'm going to cross over the line because there's nobody near me and I don't want to be next to that wall. Okay. Speed limit's 45. We're down to 3rd gear and we're at 2300 RPMs. I'm going 40. That's as fast as I think I'm going to go. There's the ski lift going up on the ski resort. Can zoom in and show them that right up there. So if you were on one of them gondolas, you could ride all the way to the top of the mountain. There's 2 different ways. There's the one on the left, and there's another going up the right-hand side. I don't know the name of that ski resort, but I imagine we'll see a sign pretty quick here. Guess they've got construction up here, and my 40 miles an hour isn't so bad after all, is it? Steve Koenig, if you see some of these trees around here, I want you to know, it makes me think of you when I see those perfect little pine trees that look like a Christmas tree. They're just perfect. They're spruces, actually. Anyhow, this is for you, Steve. I'm going to comment about how Steve and I are elk hunting. He'll say, there's one, there's one. I'm thinking, what, elk? No, it isn't elk. It'll be coming on the tunnel, coming up on this pass. Anyhow, Steve will be pointing out perfect Christmas trees because he'll be there for 2 missions. One's to get an elk and the other's to get a Christmas tree. Now, this is pretty bouncy in this tunnel right here. So Pastor Elaine, I should say, is having a hard time holding that camera still. Just to in case you didn't know, Elaine and I are pastors of a church as well, so that's why I accidentally called her Pastor Elaine. Some of you might be some of our parishioners, and if that's the case, then you know her as Pastor Elaine as well. Wolf Creek Scenic Overlook, but I'm going to go real slow, and maybe Elaine can get something. I have no idea, but we're not going to stop because there's nowhere to stop here. We're just going to keep on keeping on. Right now, and Elaine's going to show you out here to the side. There's this beautiful valley out here on this Wolf Creek Pass, and the mountain's tall. I mean, we're climbing like crazy, and my truck's working. I'm staying down about 4th gear, going about 50 miles an hour. Maybe that's a little too fast for 4th gear, but as we're climbing, I'm keeping my RPM about 2100 or 2000 RPM thereabout. Anyway, it's a pretty steep road. You can't really tell it looking on the video. I know it doesn't look steep, but it is steep, trust me. I can't tell you what percent of the grade it is, but we're still climbing and climbing. Pretty soon we'll be to the top of this pass, and I'm not going to keep videoing while we're climbing, but when we get to the top, I'll show you what it looks like at the top of Wolf Creek Pass. Valley, isn't this a beautiful view? See if I can stop and get a picture for you. If I can, I will, but I'm not going to push it real hard. Here we go. I'm going to pull over right here. We're going to get a little bit of video. They tell you when you head into Wolf Creek Pass that you got a real sharp hairpin turn coming. You see those people right up there on or down below, I should say, in their vehicles. I want to take a minute and step out. I'm going to show you this pass here, so bear with me. Look at this, isn't that? This is the time of day for the most beautiful picture ever. Look at this. This is pretty beautiful right there. Unless you're one of those guys on that road down there, which we're going to be here in a minute. So this road that we're on goes right down, and that's one of them runaway truck ramps. How'd you like to be the poor fella going about 100 miles an hour catching that, making those tire tracks in that gravel? Scare him. One more time, I'm going to show you what it looks like. We're about halfway to 2/3 of the way down Wolf Creek Pass right now. Okay, folks, here we are. We're down at the bottom. And we got this little pond. That's the one you see from all the way up at the top. And now here we are going past it. Elaine loves that little spot. She said she would move here in a minute if she had half a chance. But I don't believe it. She loves the church, and she loves St. John's and her grandbabies and all that stuff. Too much to do that, to forsake all that stuff she loves. Look at that big meadow out there. Beautiful. Anyway, well, you can't see it through the trees right now. Here in a second we'll have a break. There you go, now you can show it. There you go, all kinds of pretty beautiful meadows. I'll bet you that thing's loaded with elk in the wintertime when they come off the mountain. Anyway, we're headed down the highway. We're in a 65 mile an hour zone again, dragging our feet, only going 55. And here we are in Archuleta County. And so we're getting ready to say goodbye to pine trees and beautiful forests. And pretty soon we're going to be out of that. We're going to be back in the desert. So we're taking it all in while we can as we're driving. Anyway, folks, so you've been on this trip with us, and we've kept you a long time with us. Look at them beautiful cabins up there on the left. That's kind of a neat little place. I bet this is really cold in the wintertime, but I bet you could get in and out of here. But it would be hard, I'm sure. Anyway, all right, folks, enough for now, and we'll talk to you again in a minute. All right. Well, here we are. We're going to be heading into Durango. You'll notice we're out of the pine trees now. We're coming into Durango. Well, not quite yet into Durango. And pretty soon we're supposed to be turning left to go down to Aztec, New Mexico, and then to Farmington, and on our way home. And Elaine can show you we're out of the pine trees. We're more into like cedars and conifers of different types. But anyway, we're going to go into not into Durango all the way, but just right into the edge of Durango, because a dear friend of mine, a couple of dear friends of mine, Jerry and Jeannie Codry, their very best friend, that's what they say, is their very best friends are Kelly and Trevor, and they own the Harley dealership in Durango. And so you know what, I don't know too many people that own a Harley dealership, And they always told me, if I'm ever in that neck of the woods, be sure to stop in and tell them Jerry and Jeannie said hello. And so I'm going to do that today. We're going to stop into the Harley dealer. And it's kind of cool because usually you walk into a Harley dealer, the first thing they want to do is sell you a bike. They want you to go on a test ride. You want a test ride? Oh my goodness, see, you've never rode a Harley quite like that. Next thing you know, you're wanting it. Your lustful flush, as my wife tells me I have, starts to kick in, and the next thing you know, my flesh starts saying, I gotta have it. No, I don't. I'm happy to have my 1980 Harley Davidson Electric Glide Ultra Classic. It's a classic, and it's beautiful. It's in mint shape. Elaine and I ride it around once in a while, and we don't get out near as often as we wish we could. Too many responsibilities in life. Anyway, bottom line, we're fixing to go say hi to some friends of some friends, just because that's what you do. You go say hi to your friends' friends when you're in the neighborhood because they said to tell them hi. So we're crossing the Florida River, which means we're not that many miles right now from being into Durango. And we don't go into Durango proper to get to the Harley dealership. It's on the southeast end of Durango. So we'll be in there next, and we'll talk to you guys later. You have a good one. So we stopped in Durango, and we visited with Trevor. Oh, I visited with Trevor. Elaine didn't. But what an awesome man, a mighty man of God, and owns his own Harley dealership. And man, I'm telling you folks, if you're ever in Durango, stop in at Durango Harley Davidson. And yeah, I'll advertise for him because this guy's too incredible. He's a really neat guy. I didn't go in there to buy anything, just to stop and tell him hi, but he gave me this little sticker, and I think that's pretty cool of him. Anyhow, we visited for a few minutes, and I told him I wasn't there to buy, I wasn't there to stay. I just stopped in for a minute, just wanted to say hi, and also to say hi from his very dear friends from Jerry and Jeannie Codry. Anyway, Jerry and Jeannie, this is for you. We done it, and I now have a new friend in my life. Anyhow, you guys, this is it for now. We're going out of Durango. We're getting ready to head toward Aztec, New Mexico. And so, if Elaine will show you where we're at and what we're doing, here's where we are, folks. We're headed, we just went past the Home Depot, and we're headed toward the right turn just up ahead where we're going to turn and head south toward home. So, in just a moment, we'll be turning. You guys take care. It's been good having you along with us. You can hear my navigator tell me turn right at the next light. So I hope the next light's coming up here in just a minute, because it looks like a big old grade going uphill. Talk to you later. Bye.